Disclaimer: this video is educational in nature and is not financial advice. Trading involves risks, and do your own research before making decisions. How many times have you told yourself, "I'll start changing things soon. I'll find the right way someday." We just have to wait a little longer. Weeks go by, months go by, and the feeling that you're standing still doesn't go anywhere. I know this well because I was once at this point myself. My name is Evelyn, and for 10 years now I've been studying trading in depth and building an approach that's based on systematic steps rather than randomness. In this video, I'll show you what a clear and calm path can look like, without complicated terms, overwhelm and chaos. An approach that can help even those who are just starting their trading journey. If you want to understand how this path works and what the results are based on, stay until the end. In the finale, I'll tell you how to access the system that many of our community members started with. Are you ready? Then let's get started. Before we begin, I want to tell you about one important thing that can make your journey much easier. A few years ago, I created a community, a place where we go through this journey together, step by step. There, I share my personal experience, explain how to approach work without rushing and overloading, and help those who are just starting out on this path. There are so many members in the community now, and every day we're moving forward, not through random attempts, but through a calm, clear, and consistent approach. Everything is built in such way that you are not left alone with questions. I personally try to accompany newcomers and support them in their first steps. When I started, I didn't have much luck with a mentor. I had to go through everything myself. So now I try to be such a support for others. It is important for you to feel supported and to understand the topic gradually in a comfortable rhythm. Follow the link in the attached comment and join my community. It's open and accessible. No rush. And you and I will continue. Well, let's finally get to the session. I have already opened the platform. You can see on your screen what it looks like. It remains to set the settings I need. Choose pairs and indicators. Hopefully, today's indicator will allow me to make more informed choices. Okay, the settings are set and I'm ready to begin. On the chart, the upward movement is preserved and the current pause looks like a temporary slowdown. The value is approaching the area from which the movement in the opposite direction often started earlier. From my observations, this may be an important level to watch out for. Additional parameters indicate that the trend is still strong, so a continuation of the upward movement remains likely. We can see the further behavior of the chart, and it corresponds to my forecast. Now, let's move on. The situation on the chart indicates a continuation of the upward movement, so I'm going up. Before that, the line was fluctuating back and forth, but now it has returned to the upper boundary. This behavior is a classic retest. Taking into account the general direction and market behavior, let's take off. Here we have seen how the market tests the level, and it is not a bad visual example. Let's move on. This is where I draw my conclusions almost immediately. We're heading up again, and now I will explain why. The chart here breaks a level and now does a quick retest. This is when, after a breakdown, the chart line comes back up almost immediately to see if it can hold higher. I would compare it to a door you open with a key, but then push it open just in case to make sure it's open. The indicator is showing upward movement, which means the trend is continuing. Alright folks, let's move on to the next couple. There are signs of a reversal here. After the previous pair, the chart updated the maximum again, but the indicators say something else. There is a divergence. On the chart, we see growth, but on the indicator, on the contrary, a decline. It's like a car gaining speed but running out of fuel. Such an imbalance often indicates that the buyer's momentum is weakening. I intend to go down. In this case, the indicator helped us to notice the weakening of the movement. Let's move on. Trading is not complicated. Those who get the right information in time and know how to put it into practice move forward. That is why I hold daily online sessions in our community where I share my approach, explain the logic behind decisions, and deal with situations that cannot be found in the public domain. Now I have a sufficient number of people working with me, and everyone has the opportunity to observe the whole system from the inside, step by step. I show how the process can be built, from analysis to decision making, and I do it in such a way that even a new participant can understand it. You don't need to understand everything at once. Just start and move gradually. Move forward in a supportive environment. Access to the community is open, but places are limited because I personally answer questions and guide those who are just starting out. If you want to join, just pause the video and follow the link in the pinned comment. Those who start consciously find their rhythm faster. And we continue. The scenario that I assumed was confirmed. The movement did not hold at the level and continued to decline. Now the descending dynamics is clearly visible on the chart, and I'm just following it. Acting in the opposite direction is not the most rational idea. It is much more logical to use the current situation to your advantage. Additional parameters also show that the downward movement continues, so the chosen course looks reasonable. This example shows that if a movement has gained strength, it is better not to argue with it, but to follow the trend. Let's move on. You can see that here we are moving back towards the main movement, so we're going up again. A slight deviation is observed, which is quite natural within the general upward movement. There are no signs of serious changes yet, which indicates that the current direction is being maintained. Everything is developing calmly and consistently. A case where you don't need to complicate things. Let's move on. Now I'm seeing the divergence again. The chart continues to grow while the indicator shows a decline. This is a sign that the upward momentum is weakening. In such situations, a reversal often starts. I'm going to go down based on the fact that the current movement may intensify. If the dynamics continues, there is a probability that the chart will overcome an important zone where the stops occurred earlier. Once again, my attention to detail helped me analyze the situation. Moving on, what we have here. After a period of decline, there is a confident upward movement, which overlaps the previous part of the decline. This may indicate a change of mood and strengthening of the upward dynamics. Additional parameters are also starting to point in the same direction. Taking into account the situation, we can expect a continuation of the upward movement, with an eye on the nearest zone where the stops occurred earlier. Both the chart and the indicator are pointing in the same direction, which means that the decision is well considered. Let's move on to the next pair. Let's look closely. The overall movement remains upward, but there is now a slight decline and temporary stabilization on the chart. This condition often precedes a new impulse. Based on the current picture, I see reasons to expect a continuation of growth. So, I consider the possibility of an upward movement if the current conditions persist. Movements like this are often the launching point for a strong movement. We're taking advantage of it, moving on in the final stage ahead. The situation is similar to the previous one, but now we're at the bottom of the current range. After the decline, an upward movement appears, which may indicate a change of direction. Such formations often precede a gradual recovery, not pulling, going up. We end the session on a strong note. The upward movement was expected, and we took advantage of it. What do you think? Now, imagine how your trade would have changed if you had someone who had already traveled this path by your side from the beginning. When I started out, I had no one to lean on. I was walking blindly, learning from my own mistakes and wasting a lot of time simply because I didn't know where to start. That's why I decided to create a space where every newbie can get the support I once lacked. In our community, I share what works in practice, help you build your system step by step, and answer questions that come up along the way. It's not just training for the sake of a check mark. It's accompaniment and support that allows you to move in a calm and deliberate way. If you feel like this resonates with you, follow the link in the pinned comment and join in. Thanks for watching to the end. See you inside.